This is 7, based on the 7 deadly sins. There is a beautiful woman on each of these little platforms, and she has a couple minions, and each minion also represents whichever sin they are. We have gluttony right there with all the food. Now, gluttony can be overindulgence of anything. It doesn't need to be food, it's usually food, but like, if you've ever watched the show Hoarders, they're basically gluttons too. It's just for stuff instead of food. Over there we have greed, which of course is money or valuables. Right here is wrath, which is probably my worst sin, and I'm sure you're the same way. When you have red hair, you just see red and everything else, it doesn't matter. Back behind that where the snake is envy. She's got a kind of Britney Spears going on. She's got the snake going.
Oh yeah.
Sloth is the blue, which we'll walk past, but sloth used to mean not using your talents. It didn't just mean laziness, it meant you just didn't use, if you were an artist, you just didn't paint. So that was also considered sloth. It didn't necessarily mean just being a lazy bum. Back with the red and the fire, that's lust, which of course means sexual desire. So she's the most scantily clad. And then just past that is pride. Now when you think of the 7 deadly sins, it's funny, I have found that most people forget pride. I usually think it's because they're so proud of remembering all the other 6 that they forget pride, but of course it means, you know, self-love. We're gonna keep essentially what has happened is there was a beautiful garden at one time, but nature decided to take it back from the humans, and they created these hybrid creatures. So you have owls, you have ravens, you have bats, and they've mated with humans, really gross, and they've created these things. Now if you guys walk through this at night, the costumes in here are phenomenal. There's an owl costume where she is on stilts and she has stilts on her hands. It is fantastic. It's so beautiful. And the bats are really awesome too because they have these huge ears. Now bats are always kind of associated with witchcraft and all of that kind of stuff, but one of the big wives' tales about bats is they like to get caught in your hair, and that's made its, you know, appearance in a lot of films. But the thing is, bugs are usually attracted to humans because they want to drink our blood or they just want to be close to us. Well, bats eat bugs. So bats who are going to fly in to try and get that bug that's hovering around your face, it's not headed for your hair, it's just trying to get that bug to get some food. So that's where that wives' tale kind of came from. Owls, of course, are always creatures of the night because they are nocturnal, so that's why, of course, they make their appearance in here. And then the ravens have always been associated with death. They have a very loud cry, and they also are carrion animals, so they eat, you know, dead things. So, of course, they're associated with death. In a couple different works of literature, they actually talk, like Edgar Allan Poe, which is where we're headed, that the raven actually speaks, so it's kind of an odd creature. Right up here as we pass, which you can take a picture if you want, but the great girl statue who has made her appearance in many of our houses is right up here. She's out in the open this year, but we're gonna head through.
Not so favorite. Thanks.
Hell, but we're calling it Canyon of Dark Souls. A couple of years ago at Islands of Adventure, when we were over there, we had a very neat scare zone that was made of rock work, and the scare actors actually had rock work costumes. They blended in fantastically, and then they would come out and scare the living daylights out of people. We're trying to replicate that again. Now the scare actors in here, if it's not raining, are supposed to be on stilts. Not only that, all of the characters in here are 6'2" or taller. So they're already big guys, and then we're adding stilts to them. So it's really large. They all have masks that look like these things. So when they're on the stilts, they back in, and you can't tell which is a mask and which is actually a character. And then they just bend down and they essentially scare the heck out of you.
This is somebody I know, if you guys have been following Facebook and what we've been able to sense, is the one you're most excited about, and so are we. This one is placed over by Shrek Alley. It actually is the first time we've ever created a transforming scare zone within the park. Typically we avoid those types of structures, those designs, because the architecture of the scare zone is to keep flow, keep the people moving within the park. The actors pretty much work around basically fixed scenery. Here, the scenery moves. The actors, the performers are able to change the space while you're in it. When you enter it, it will not be the same when you leave it. We're excited about this scare zone. We think you guys are going to have a blast in it, and at the same time, we think it's probably something nobody's ever done before.
Want to go ahead? Best way to go through?
With your eyes closed? This is placed on the streets of our back lot. We bring you in touch with acid rain that has basically tormented the city streets. And something unique here, we've actually done video projections before as part of our 360 show and part of a scare zone, or actually a show we did back in 2006, but we never placed them in a scare zone with you. Well, this year, that's all new. We're actually putting video on the Macy's facade, the Tribune, and the public library, and actually showing you how the acid rain has basically deteriorated these buildings over time. Here's a sneak peek of what that's going to look like. This is actually amazing. The technology that's available to us now that wasn't available even 2 or 3 years ago makes this all possible. When we project on the buildings, it actually makes the building pretty much disappear, and this video architecture takes over the space.
You're going to stand in the street and not believe your eyes. Those buildings absolutely fall apart.
And this is one of the characters that populates the streets. They've also lived in the world of acid rain for a little too long. Extreme makeover, I think. Lady Luck. You will take your chances. You will take the chance to flip the coin, roll the dice, pick a card. This is actually placed in our Sting Alley Scare Zone. And you will see both sides of Lady Luck. Lady Luck is a unique character for us. Again, an icon like others, but not like others, because she has two worlds. She has the world that she tries to seduce you, she tries to entice you, she tries to make you take that chance. Make the choice. You're lucky. Come on. You think you can win. And the reality is, you never win, because you can never beat the house. And you come in contact with her more twisted, more monster, more demonic side.
How many of you...